All right, let's see what happened to The Simpsons Tapped Out. I know that EA
after 12 years
fucking shut off the servers. This is like some mobile game that I guess Simpsons fans love so much, dude. I'm sure you were all still playing this, totally, dude. It's like a city builder type thing. Kind of sucks in my opinion. I just don't like that genre. I mean, not like the game itself. I never played it. But it's gone now. What happened?
Simpsons Tapped Out is officially shutting down forever. In case you weren't aware, The Simpsons Tapped Out was a mobile game that allowed players to create their very own Springfield.
A novel concept, I imagine, when it came out, but freaking, that was probably like 2013, I imagine.
Iconic and obscure Springfield landmarks, take part in special events, quests, and interact with over 831 beloved characters.
Banger!
Like, who can forget Chester Dupree, Coco Beanie, and,
Dog Simpson!
What is it?
What the dog doing?
What the hell is Homer Dog? So, after more than a decade of millions of players crafting and perfecting their own towns, this notification suddenly appeared on September 26th, 2024. It was the official announcement that the game was ending. And on January 24th, 2025, the game will be permanently discontinued and become unplayable. And so,
I'm balding in real time.
Tap out for good.
I have one less hair.
But how did this come to be? How did a game that received 80 million downloads and grossed over $200 million suddenly get cancelled?
Suckers!
Well, let's start at the very beginning. In August 2012, EA Games launched The Simpsons Tapped Out with this trailer. The opening was an obvious parody of the Simpsons movie, which was released 4 years prior, but instead of Russ Cargill's giant dome engulfing Springfield, it was Homer's giant finger.
Wow.
It got fans excited. It was going to be the
Would you guys get probed by Homer's finger? Let me know in the comments.
first Simpsons game since, well, the Simpsons game, which was also released 4 years prior. This official trailer and the darker follow-up one featuring a bored dad slowly unraveling because of Tapped Out captured that quintessential Simpsons humor, absurd, self-aware, and absolutely hilarious. And it was exciting to see how this style will translate into an actual mobile game. So, what was the premise? When you first enter the game, it opens with Homer working at the nuclear power plant, but he's actually playing the Happy Little Elves game on his MyPad. This negligence results in the nuclear power plant and the whole of
I hate when that happens. I would say
it's left
dope.
up to you and Homer to help rebuild the town, and is soon aided by other characters, firstly by Lisa and then Apu. Then you start tapping the buildings and bundles of XP and dollars pop out, which you can then use to buy even more properties. You can then make Apu pull really long shifts at the Quickie Mart, grow tobacco on Cletus's farm, or party with Duffman at the Duff Brewery.
Duffman is here to refill your beer!
You can even visit your friends Springfield, mess with their towns, and collect
Harry
rewards
Potter.
too. And you had two types of town builders.
Oh, that was somebody
You had
else.
those that meticulously recreated Springfield exactly how it's shown in the show in order to make an exact replica of the town's layout, or you had others that took the complete opposite approach and said, to hell with accuracy by dropping their buildings wherever they damned well pleased. But yeah, the game felt so quintessentially Simpsons that it didn't feel corporate, and I feel this was largely because the writers of The Simpsons were directly involved in the development of Tapped Out. And although they aren't credited, I believe they were Matt Selman, Matt Warburton, and Brian Kelly, just to name a few.
And now they tapped out, you could say. And now I guess you could say they tapped out. Probably because they were forced to by EA. Notorious game company that hates fun.
In an interview with Vulture in 2014, Simpsons writer J. Stuart Burns, who also developed and served as the game's runner, said, "Nobody gets credited sadly, but I think people get excited about it because they can do stuff they wouldn't necessarily get to do in the show." The writers wrote new storylines and characters' dialogue to ensure that the humour remained consistent with the series. So, therefore, there were exclusive stories in Simpsons Tapped Out that were never in any episodes. Stories that I don't even know about. So yes, the Simpsons team collaboration was a big part of the game's appeal, allowing players to experience unique stories that feel true to the Simpsons universe. But this isn't new. The writers have mostly always had a hand in securing the Simpsons identity across its collaborations. In my video a few months ago, I already dived into just how much input they had into shaping and creating Universal Studios Springfield, USA. But back to Tapped Out though, and it was an understatement to say that it was a huge success. Immediately upon launch day, it was
Except Legoland is awesome, and Tapped Out is a money grab, dude. A waste of time. Tap it around unless it's fun for you, then go off.
EA even had to delay people downloading the game because it was overloading and crashing their systems. And so in 2013, it was revealed that The Simpsons Tapped Out had 5.4 million daily active players. And while it didn't revolutionize the genre, the game's ability to capture the show's signature humor and charm helped it stand out in the crowded mobile gaming market. So much so that it amassed a dedicated fanbase who enjoyed expanding their towns and unlocking brand new characters through themed events, therefore keeping the game relevant for over a decade. Over the game's 12-year run, the game witnessed 308 updates, introduced 831 characters, and 1,463 questlines.
Too many!
Packed with references from the show's 30-plus year history. Financially, it was a juggernaut, generating over $130 million in its first 2 years alone. It also had longevity, standing alongside mobile giants like Candy Crush and Roblox, and I think this was partly because the show was still ongoing, so it opened up a fresh batch of characters, storylines, and locations for the game developers to work with.
You can visit God.
And unlike Candy
Some
Crush
of you need
and
to.
Roblox, it tapped
And they
into
took it away
fans'
from
love
us.
for a show that the majority grew up with. It became a way for them to engage with the world of The Simpsons in the palm of their hand. Even if they didn't keep up with The Simpsons by watching modern Simpsons on TV, they could still recapture that nostalgia. And over that time, EA cleverly incorporated gags and characters from the show, keeping the players hooked for 12 years. However, the game wasn't without its controversy. It faced backlash over its freemium model, where players felt frustrated that they needed to spend real money to advance or progress in good time. The game even became a parody target in South Park's 2014
Bro, I would play the Terrence and Phillip game. Holy shit, this looks way better than Simpso time.
episode, Freemium Isn't Free, mocking the addictive nature of in-app purchases.
Run around and collect more coins, or better yet, buy them in bulk.
Despite this though, Tapped Out stood
You know what they say, there's nothing addictive about spending money, because I hate doing that.
the test of time, adapting and
I got big boy, take my money.
over the years in order to keep players coming back. Besides, The Simpsons themselves said it was life-ruiningly fun.
If you're tired of being a successful, healthy person, Tapped Out may be able to help.
But
Oh, it's so cynical and on the nose. That excuses it of any judgment or yeah, just judgment. You can't.
does this
it's ironic,
self-awareness
dude.
make it right? Because even though
can't
Tapped Out
criticize
is
it.
free to download, players can purchase in-game items using real-world cash. This drew criticism for being exploitative and lacking in gameplay, because to progress in the game you had to complete character quests and levels. But some of the wait time for these tasks could take as long as 90 days. So these ridiculously tedious wait times encouraged the players to pay real money on virtual donuts, which could then be swapped for virtual currency. As stated, The Simpsons was very self-aware of this issue. Homer himself called out the game in this cutscene.
Hey, what if I buy a bushel barrel full of elfberries? That just speed things up.
And they would do
I
this
do
again.
love when people criticize their stuff in their art while also doing it at the same time. I can always, you gotta love that.
And poking fun at the exploitative nature of Tapped Out in The Simpsons Season 35 episode Labor Pains. But just because they point out its own faults, it doesn't excuse it from being exploitative. It's just self-aware, but not very ethical. And even though I didn't personally spend any money on it, I remember spending so much on, and yeah, this is gonna age me.
I mean, it's mostly cringe to me, not like unethical. I mean, who's actually spending $100 on The Simpsons Tapped Out? Nobody anymore, thank God. Thank God, think of the children. They deleted it, finally. Crisis averted. But I mean, it could be, I guess, it's predatory, I suppose, at worst. That's like the worst you could say, but it's mostly just cringe and the game sucks.
Hotel. I racked up so much money on my dad's phone bill just so I could get some more hairdos.
I say that, but
clothes,
then there will be a reskin that's more up my alley and I'll fall for it.
clout,
Hook, line, and
maybe
sinker,
a free
dude.
piece of furniture. Gaming like this can be addictive, and you can spend real money, sometimes when it's not even yours. But that's Habbo Hotel, a
I would love
desktop
to spend
virtual
someone
world
else's
chat
money
room.
addictively.
Tapped Out was a freemium mobile game, and it was a model that was only becoming more and more popular. Now, just from what I gathered, this increase of mobile games with similar freemium models may have just completely densified the space, therefore leading into its slowing in popularity. But is
Homer's
that
fault.
the reason for the closure?
No.
Well, it's not the only one.
You ruined the App
Personally,
Store.
I think it might be a combination of things. So, my first point of call was going to the source themselves, but unfortunately EA hasn't given a direct reason for the closure. But industry experts
What the
suggest
hell?
that after 12 years the game likely became too costly to maintain relative to its income. Because although Tapped Out did generate over $200 million in revenue since its launch in 2012, interest in the game had certainly waned in recent years.
They probably made like less than $2 over the. They were in the red, $2, and that the EA said, "Shut it down, tap out."
And EA's new
Just like The
strategy
Simpsons.
emphasizes developing games from its own brands and aims to create large-scale mobile experiences that can attract a wider player base with more potential profit, rather than continuing to support
What a
older
Monster
games
Fury, of
that are
course
perhaps
I
tied to
remember.
more stringent IPs and regulations. The closure of Simpsons Tapped Out comes as part of a larger trend with EA
guys ever
shutting
play
down
Tapped Out?
other long-running games as
I was never even that into The Simpsons, but freaking all the Fox city builder games just seemed so cynical and
it's gonna
hypocritical
be
and
a very
stupid.
big
It's like, why even
reason.
acknowledge it, dude?
Hold on to yours,
You're milking
boy.
me.
I mean, we did talk about stringent IPs and regulations, and who has a stronger IP and regulation than Mickey Mouse? I mean, similarly, and
He's literally public domain, isn't he? Or is that just Steamboat Willie?
going back to Universal Studios, it's rumored that the
Does that mean I can watch the movie on stream, the horror movie, since it's public domain? That's not how that works. Big boy.
is closing there. This is because the
Oh,
licensing
I met
deal
that guy
between
once.
Universal
I saw a freaking pic on my phone when I was looking for something else of me with this statue.
and Disney
Wherever
is
the fuck
set to
that is.
expire in 2028. And there are indications that Disney might
Yeah.
not renew the contract, therefore allowing them to potentially incorporate the Simpsons characters in their own parks instead. Well, I don't know about you guys, but imagining a Simpsons land being at Disney will be crazy.
Yeah, right, buddy. That'll never happen. Shout out to the Simpsons theory, though. It's just a game theory about a TV show. Thank you guys for freaking tuning in. Appreciate you. Peace.